In news today, Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, has bought another 6,220 Bitcoin, worth nearly $740 million, bringing its total holdings to over 607,000 Bitcoin, worth about $71.8 billion. When we look at MicroStrategy's chart, what the heck is going on here? Why is it going down? It has a lot to do with Rule 386. Price reality. Hope ignores it. Structure is price reality. If you're getting perplexed about the news and the relationship between news and price, you're not alone. Having been inside financial markets for nearly 4 decades, one of the things that I used to do is listen intently to the news. Of course, if this occurred, Strategy coming out and buying all this Bitcoin must go up. So therefore, let's just buy in anticipation of upward price momentum, only to see the price come down and say, oh, I got it wrong. This is really normal, and it happens all the time across all markets. And to just fuel the fire, iTrump Media, parent of Truth Social, its Bitcoin treasury is now sitting at around $2 billion. BitGo is filing for an IPO. It has $100 billion in digital assets across 1,200 tokens. And on the Ethereum side, Ether Machine, which will be ETHM, will go public on the NASDAQ. It will have 400,000 plus ETH on its balance sheet and will surpass SharpLink and also Bitmine Immersion. And if you like typos, please put in typo into the comments. But seriously, Ether Machine will become the largest publicly traded ETH holder if successfully launched. And the White House is expected to release its first crypto policy report following a directive from the President Trump's executive order that established the Digital Asset Markets Working Group. Wow, such fantastic news. So why in the hell has Bitcoin come down from such a good high to here? And where is Bitcoin going? And what are the structural levels on Strategy and the structural levels on Ethereum as well? And of course, on Bitcoin. Let's run the numbers and let's find out together. Hey everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the CTKS method. If you're new, a very warm welcome, and welcome back, CTKS family. Welcome to the home of structural analysis across all markets. If you want an edge, this is the place to be. Subscribing, you'll get an edge you won't find anywhere else, so please smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. There's a ton of free resources at ctksmethod.org. Please check it out. Now, what I wanted to show you was a little bit of a look inside the monthly service. Now, I don't typically do this, but I want to show you the paths on Bitcoin towards the end of the month. I have these paths on all of these particular things: stocks, cryptos, commodities, Forex. And CTKS paths are formed through 2 levels of standard certification. That's in here. You can learn how to do it yourself. So let's have a look at Bitcoin and where it's going this month. The paths are extremely valuable, and that's why I share them inside the service. But I want to give you an idea as to where Bitcoin could go if it keeps on following structure. Now, I say if it keeps on following structure. Could this movement be predicted by structure? A lot of people would say, no way on earth. But structure is something else. Now, what you can see here are the structural indicators of paths going forward towards the end of the month. Now, this is the first time on the channel that I've ever done this. Now, what we can see here is structurally at the start of the month. Maybe I'll just give you a bit of an insight if you're new onto how or into how these paths are actually created. There is CTKS structure just hanging underneath these particular charts. And you might say, Ken, how is that possible? Bitcoin has gone to all-time new highs. There can't be any structure because there's price discovery. That is a retail myth, just like trading from the news. I'm going to actually zoom in here and show you the structure that Bitcoin is dealing with. But if we continue to go on the positive path, now what does that actually mean? Price reality is the only key. A lot of people talk about potential, and that's fantastic. It's good to have potential, and Bitcoin and crypto do have potential. But specific economic issues can impact if price gets through structural overhead resistance or it fails at structural support. Even though these paths do a very good job of estimating where price can actually go, that's not their purpose. Their purpose is to help you to understand where the structure is inside the market and where price can go in any specific month. Not just from a positive stance, but from a neutral stance and a negative stance as well. This is absolutely critical. If you read the news or you just hook in with social media influencers, everything is up because, hey, it sells. But if you want to actually make money, you need to know what structure is doing. Let's just pop in here and look at this structure. So if you think about the structure inside Bitcoin, if we actually break out of this range, we're going to do really, really well. And another thing that you need to understand about these paths, they look pretty random, don't they? They look like I just drew lines and then price is going up and down, I'll just adjust the lines. People who have been inside the service know that that is never ever the case. These lines are drawn at the start of the month and predict out price paths to the end of the month. This is a very specific look inside the service. And if you want to get rid of your anxiety and figure out where things can actually go across all of those different charts, Ethereum, Solana, gold, silver, Forex, then please join the service because it will just save you from hours and hours of terror. You'll literally be like our members who can see the market before the market moves. A lot of people deal with moving averages, so when you look at a moving average, it does give you some idea, but it doesn't give you any idea of resistance. Let's zoom into this area and figure out what the key levels of structure actually are, because we don't want to drop off this structure into the consolidation case or the negative case. When people join the service, they also get a trading view indicator, which is specific to each chart. They can pop on this chart to reveal level 1 and level 2 standard certification markups on structural resistance and structural support levels for those specific charts. And you can use a free version of TradingView to view those as well. One of the things that we see straight away with the levels under level 1 and level 2 standard certification, around the 117,800 level, this is a really important level to keep your eye on. If we cannot get above this, we cannot continue on with the positive path. As I was saying in yesterday's video, we have fairly good levels of structural support, but they unfortunately just got tested. What we can see now is that the crypto market is becoming range bound. Bitcoin is consolidating. Always remember that structure is reality. If you cannot get above, or if this price of Bitcoin doesn't get above 117,800, it's not going higher. If we start to see Bitcoin coming down through all of these levels of structural support, now you will notice that different levels have different thicknesses. Thicker levels are stronger. Thinner levels are weaker. When you get more clustering, that means they become stronger together. Your absolute key in the sand is this 117,800. That is the level that you must watch. What is our bias here? Well, we know that crypto is on the positive price path, so the bias is positive at the current time. We spoke about MicroStrategy in the past. Let's have a look at MicroStrategy, or strategy now. Now, strategy is doing this kind of behavior. This behavior is structurally based. Strategy simply can't get above its overhead structural resistance. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll just put on that three-dimensional price path called a CTKS path from inside the service. One of the things that you'll note is we are on the positive path at the moment. The path doesn't have to ping price behavior perfectly. But from a structural perspective, we were expecting price to come down and base here. Strategy is linking its fate into the crypto market. So therefore, if Bitcoin starts to come down, strategy will come down as well. But if Bitcoin resumes its rally up, and that is the predominant theory at the current time, strategy will do very, very well. You can see the price paths called CTKS paths across all of the components of the service in the monthly video where I explain what's actually going on inside the market. If you'd like to join the service, please do so because it's an incredible resource. And we have an awesome community as well. And if you would like to learn how to draw up the CTKS paths, it's in Level 2 Standard Certification. The video done at the start of the month shows the paths that I do not change. We've seen the paths just on Bitcoin and also strategy, I should say. But we also have Nvidia, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, the S&P 500, all the major indexes, gold, silver, the yields, oil, commodities, Forex, and of course the risk on, risk off, as well as the crypto market main players. And you will get these TradingView indicators that you can pop across your favorite charts. It is an incredible service, incredible. Another thing to realize, how price actually works is a lot different than the way people think it works. In order to go higher, typically the charts have to get very negative to do so. Now, why is that the case? Because the shorts pile in and say, okay, I'm going to sell and buy back. That's what a short does. A long buys and then sells. So a long just makes money this way, a short makes money this way. Now, when a short has to cover, the short has to buy, or they'll get liquidated, or they get liquidated and they're forced to buy. Therefore, to liquidate shorts means that you're going to get a lot of upward explosive action, and to liquidate longs means you're going to get downward action. But everything is related to structure. It is not random. Some people just look within a price chart and say, oh, these are the key levels. They're not. The key levels are based on all of structure. Stories are fantastic, but structure is what you need to know if you want to make money and if you want to keep it. Typically, what people will do is that they will buy at structural resistance and sell at structural support. This is simply because they don't know where it is, and you can see structure is very, very powerful, and this applies towards the right, not towards the left, but towards the right. That's why we can say we know what the structural levels are before price prints. It is an incredible skill to have, and you can learn how to do it yourself. Learn once, apply for a lifetime. This is absolutely the way to go. A lot of people, when they enter financial markets, they think that they can just cruise along, make a fortune, because that's what the scammers will tell them. You don't have to know anything. You can put in 1 minute per year and you'll make $1 billion trillion. Scammers are terrible. The truth of anything, you must have the skill. And when you're putting your hard-earned money on the line, please don't gamble. At least know where the structure is. When you can read structure, you will have literally superpowers. You'll be able to do things like I'm doing right here. Remember, these paths are drawn at the start of the month and they are not changed. You can have this skill too, and you should have it. You will eventually find that structure is everything. It will keep you in front of the news. It will help you to understand when to get in, when to get out. Also, what you're going to find is that structure causes the news and not the other way around. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.